Have you ever felt like you were drowning as an educator? Have you ever thought that you were doing the wrong thing? Have you ever felt like you just didn't have enough time? Well, I want you to know that inside of you exists an unlimited potential, and I believe in it. And one reason that I believe in it is because inside of us is a potential that once we learn how to control it and harness it and live it with passion, that we'll be able to spread it through our schools and our classrooms and through our communities and into our world like wildfire. Join me on the journey as we explore together unlocking unlimited potential. And I can't wait to be on this journey with you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unlocking Unlimited Potential Stories show. I am so excited for you all to be here on Valentine's Day. Opportunity to share the love, definitely in the comments section. But we are so excited to jump right into this show today. We got the one and only, the Wright leader himself, Vernon Wright. I was so excited to be able to get you on the show today that we decided to push it ahead a day just to make it happen.
Well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and say what an honor, what a privilege. Wow, right? And I'm going to tell you that, folks, right now, you know, you don't come into any space of thought with Dr. I was going to say Brandon Beck. But let me be official, right? Dr. Brandon Beck. You don't come into any space of his unless you're ready to take notes. Low tech, high tech, anywhere in between. I'm going to tell you right now, brother, I feel some copious note-taking moments coming on right now.
I hope so. Hopefully some of those epiphanies, some of those, unlocked moments. How about that? But listen, man, so we're so excited to have you here. I mean, it's been, I've had a really great time connecting with you over the past and just following your journey. And the reason I wanted to get you on here is I can't wait for you to share your story with everybody. And that's what it's all about. So Vernon, tell us about you, my man.
Yeah, well, in short, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone that is connecting. I know we have a lot of folks that connect with us that are in education. We have some folks that are connecting with us that may say, you know what, Vernon, I'm not in education, but I'm a friend of education. I'm a supporter of education, public and or private. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you. I'm humbled. I'm honored. Wow. Spelled backwards is wow. So Vernon Wright, that's the name, right? And as I tell people when I do speaking engagements, unless somebody changed it on the birth certificate and didn't tell me, entrepreneur, speaker, consultant, life coach, trader. I'm in a lot of different spaces, edu leader, author, writer, a lot of other things. Started out many, many moons ago as a teacher. Got into teacher leadership, was encouraged to pursue things above and beyond that, got into being a part of a campus leadership team, and then had an opportunity after that to go even further and get into supporting at the district level. And then after that, got an opportunity to get into this thing called consulting and speaking and working beyond my local geographic area, my locale. And have just been honored to connect with so many wonderful people like you and your audience. So humbled to be here with you all today.
No, man, the love is mutual, and it being Valentine's Day, I appreciate you taking the time to come and spend your Valentine's Day with me. I appreciate that, and I think it's what it's all about, sharing the love, right? Back and forth and really hoping that, that our passions and our wisdom and our ideas and our thoughts and we'll be able to spread out through our community here. And I think that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to share that love.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say this, one of the things that I want to mention is really this concept. It's a concept, right? So we're here on Valentine's Day and everyone's thinking about that and everything that is a part of that. And I want to go ahead and mention something. Is it okay, Brandon, if I mention something right now?
Let's do it.
If I drop a pro tip, if you're taking notes, folks, a great place to take notes. We told you. Did we warn them, Brandon? Did we warn them?
We did.
We told them up front. I'm going to drop something on you that's heavy, right? But it's going to elevate you. You say, man, that seems like a paradox, a contradiction, Vernon. Hang with us. Whatever I don't know, I'm going to say Brandon knows. All right. So really it's this: love is success and success is love. Let me say that one more time.
One more time.
Love is success and success is love. So that's the first thing I'm going to give you. The second thing I'm going to give you is this: to love someone, because everyone, of course, on this day, Valentine's Day, everyone has this concept of love. I simply look at love as this: to will and to desire the highest level of well-being for another human being. To will and desire the highest level of well-being for another human on this planet. That's what it means to love someone. So if I'm loving someone, and whatever the different ways are, there are ways that we would love a significant other, ways that we would love a child, ways that we would love a brother or sister, ways that we would love our parents or other relatives. Love, and to love authentically, is success. So the next time a person tells you they're successful, what should we see within whatever they're calling success? We should see love as well, which again is to desire and will the highest level of well-being for another human.
That is all right. The show's over. You mic dropped it. I'm good.
Love is success, and success is love. And here's the thing I want to say is this, right? Not only is it about loving others, to will and desire that they have the highest level of well-being for their lives, but guess what love also is? Love is also for us as individuals.
Yep.
So I want to say this right here. There may be some of you that say, you know what, Vernon, I love Valentine's Day. Have a great time. There may be some of you that say, you know what, Vernon, I just really don't necessarily have a great time on the day. Maybe I'm not necessarily with someone. Maybe I'm not, for whatever the instances or the reasons are. It's just not a great day. I want to go ahead and say this to you. And I was sharing this with a client. I work with a lot of clients in my executive one-on-one private coaching. And one of the things that I shared with a client recently is this: in order to help other people go to the next level, have you forgiven yourself so that you can go to the next level? I asked a client that recently, and I want to say this right now. There's some of you that are watching this, and you may want to do great things for people and to go to the next level in doing great things for people. And I fully, absolutely, totally believe that is why we're on this earth, which is to serve and elevate other people. But have we given ourselves permission through forgiving ourselves and allowing ourselves to do that?
That's so true, man. And I agree 100%, because, you know, the journey towards unlocking unlimited potential begins with us.
That was good. That was good. Can you say that, folks? Did we told y'all low tech, high tech, or anywhere in between, folks?
It's right there.
It's right
Absolutely.
there.
The
It's
journey
right there.
toward unlocking unlimited potential begins with us. And it does. If we don't understand how to love ourselves, how to control that infinite power that we have inside of us, then how could we expect to unleash it onto anybody who we serve?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I say, and I'll drop this, right? I'll drop it as another pro tip. In different spaces that I've been able to speak, in different districts and different entities and organizations that I've been able to consult with, and different people that I have coached one-on-one. And if you're watching this either live or you're watching it like on a replay, you know, welcome. I'm so honored. I'm so grateful to have connected with you and our paths to have crossed with yours. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It's a date with destiny. And I say this simply: 3 things: connect, impact, scale. Those of you that have been with me before have heard me speak in different places that I've worked with as clients, or I've coached individually. You've heard me mention those 3 things: connect, impact, scale. And of course, we always talk about, you know, making authentic connections. And, you know, I could go deeper into that, but we don't necessarily have time for that. But, you know, when we do make connections with people, and they're real connections, real, right? What is the impact? How do we make an impact with people? And that's what really drives us, Brandon. That's when people get up in the morning, what we crave is we crave the interaction with individuals, but not just the interaction. We crave those instances where we're able to say to ourselves, you know what, Brandon, whatever small thing I did today, I made a difference. Some of you may have done this before. Some of you may have paid for someone else's gas at a gas pump. Some of you may have paid for someone else's groceries that didn't have any money that you were standing next to in line. You may have done all of these things where you made an impact. You may have picked up your phone. I was speaking last week at TCEA, and different speakers were talking about just pick up your phone and text somebody. I think I mentioned that in one of my sessions too, and just tell them, hey, look, I just want to let you know how much of a difference you've made in my life. We're made to express gratitude, and others are made to express gratitude in reference to us. And so this cycle of gratitude. And once you get into that cycle of gratitude, phenomenal, great things come out of it.
Absolutely. And what you put out there begins with what happens when your feet hit the floor in the morning when you wake up, right? Where do you put yourself for that day to go, or to at least be prepared for the day ahead, for what's to come?
Yeah. And really, one of the things I'll say, and I'll drop another pro tip, is something that typically I share with clients that I coach in my private one-on-one coaching, but really it's this. And I was sharing this with a client about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I asked them, what affirmations do you say to yourself before you leave the house? And the client looked at me and said, well, Vernon, I don't really have any affirmations that I say to myself. I said, well, how do you, as you go along in your day, how do you know what your center is? How do you know what your base and your core is if you've not really communicated with that and have not really connected with that yourself before you get into what I call community? And community is not just the people we're around geographically, but everyone we come into contact with, right? On the street, some people would say my circle, right? My circle, my squad. But if you don't know that, there's so many different things in life that can distract and pull you off over here on this level, or pull you off over here in this direction. And then by the end of the day, you get home, you're worn out, you're tired, and you really don't even know what you've done. You don't really know who you are. And so you're left craving, wanting to know that, you know what, I know who I am, and I've lived my life in alignment with that. But one of the best things to do is to start out every morning with a small list of affirmations that you say to yourself, and you look at just be 2 or 3 different affirmations. You could get up with an affirmation that says, you know what, I am a person that elevates others. Today, before the day is over, before I go to bed, there's at least one person today that I will connect with, that I will help to elevate. That's a very basic affirmation right there.
That is bold, man. That is, and if that is where you're going each morning, and if that's where you set your sights, you can not only go so much further, but even if you're setting yourself out for that one thing, and what is that for you? It's that connection, right? Connecting with, that one person, inspiring one more person, and how that's really what it's about, right? You sitting in that chair and me sitting here and all these other people that are out there that are doing their role that they've chosen. We've chosen that role. And, part of us is we've also been selected for a reason. And, finding that opportunity, to understand that and to believe that, I say something actually in my book. At the beginning of the book, I start out by saying, you're the chosen one. This is the biggest stage of your life. And at the end of the book, I say, I did say you were the chosen one, but you're not the chosen one. You're the lucky one. You're lucky to be chosen for an opportunity to serve. And when you think about it, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a principal, a superintendent, a director, or a corporate leader, or anything out there, your impact and your belief in yourself has to come from that purpose of understanding that you're helping others outside of you. Right?
I went through sales training. I've been through different sales training courses and have learned from different people that are experts in sales. And I had one of these gentlemen explain to me one time. He said, Vernon, how can you convince someone else of whatever it is you're trying to sell if you're not even really convinced of who you are as a person? And so I really had to do what? I really had to take a step back and really do what I have asked now for probably about the last 3 to 4 years in different speaking engagements and different people I've worked with consulting wise, really, which is this question: who are you? And, it's kind of interesting because the first speaking engagement I ever had, I mentioned that and I asked that question to an audience. And their first thought was, well, Vernon, my name is so-and-so. My name is so-and-so. And I said, well, that's the surface level response or answer to that question. But what I'm really asking is, what is really at the core of who you are? What makes up who you are? What's your vision? What's your mission? What are you totally dedicated to in your life to making happen for others? And I want to say this real quick. Can I drop another pro tip, Brandon? I don't want to violate the rules and people say, get that right guy off the show, man. Don't ever bring him back. Right. So I will
infinite pro tips. Infinite. You have an infinite amount.
Tips, right. All right. So I'm going to drop a pro tip on you all that I had a mentor share with me many, many moons ago, probably about 20, 25 years ago. And it was powerful. And I just to kind of give you guys an inside baseball kind of look at some of the things that I do with clients when I coach them in my private coaching practice really is this: get a blank sheet of paper. If you want to go old school with old school pencil and paper, that's fine. If you want to go high tech with a tablet and a stylus, that's great as well. But here's what I want you to do. You can take an hour to do this. You can take a half day. You can take a full day. Typically, most clients that I've worked with over the years that I've done this with, they've not taken beyond a day. Some of them complete it within an hour or 2 hours. I want you to take that piece of paper, physical or digital, and I want you to write down every talent and gift that you have. And this is going to be an inventory. And when you write down every talent and gift that you have, just keep writing until you can't write down any more talents and gifts. You might need to take a little brain break and then come back to it and add some more. When you get through with that list, I want you to look at that list and listen to me very, very closely, folks. I want you to look at that list. And at the very top of that list in 3 big letters, I want you to put YOU. Because that's you. That's you. All of those talents and gifts are things that you take for granted. You just say, Vernon, that's just who I am. That's what I do. That's just me, right? But let me say this and throw in a quick shout out to Tim Cavey. I mentioned this on his podcast a couple of years ago, Teachers on Fire. To you, it is just normal. But let me say this, a great place to take notes. Your ordinary is someone else's extraordinary. Your normal is someone else's breakthrough. So let me ask you this. Are you going to go ahead and let someone else stay waiting for the breakthrough that you have, that you see is just ordinary?
Mics are dropping everywhere right now in cyberspace. I can see them. Actually. No, I agree. Everything, and I would just, I was actually having a conversation with a colleague about this today, what you're talking about. And we were talking about putting together a couple things and a couple ideas that we have. And we're like, well, if we don't do this, someone else is going to do this. And we're going to be sitting there saying, man, we talked about doing that. And I totally agree. Like, inside of us, we all have these ideas. And, that exercise right there that you're talking about is so critical. Taking a moment to just, stop, pause, reflect, learn, repeat, right? What is it that you are going to learn about yourself? Because we don't take enough time to learn about who we are. And it takes work, it takes some hard work. But it doesn't take that much, of your day. And I remember when I was writing this book, and, I'm writing a book and I'm publishing a book for the first time. I'd publish a dissertation here, there, whatever. And I'm publishing a book and I'm sitting there thinking, who's going to want to read this book that doesn't know me? And, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. And I was working with someone and I was doing some coaching exercises with some people that I work with. And I sat there and wrote down the top 25 reasons that day why people would want to read my book, why they would want to buy my book, why they would want to be a part of, or have me be a part of their journey. And writing those 25 reasons was one of the most powerful things I did. And I read it daily. I read it when I would sit down to write, because it also puts you in that place, finding that place where you can focus in and be at your most infinite level, where you can be completely empowered, where all the things going around outside of you don't matter. It's completely you only, and you know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. And if you can get there, and you're not going to get there every day, but finding that as your, like your pinnacle of your daily efforts, right?
One of the things that is so powerful, it's absolutely powerful, Brandon, in what you've shared, but it's so subtle, so very subtle. And there's some folks that may have missed it. They may have said, Vernon, Brandon, wow, I missed it. Where'd it go? Right. And I talked about putting talents and gifts down on a piece of paper. You talked about putting the reasons why people would want to engage with your work and partake of your work and really immerse themselves in your work. But here's the part that is so subtle. It's such a nuance, but it's so powerful. Great place to take notes. If you're taking notes, you not only gained awareness, but you put the awareness before your eyes. So let me ask everyone that's listening and watching, what are you putting before your eyes in terms of your why? And when you do that, and you put the reasons before, because many of you would say, oh yeah, Vernon, well, I published a book. I know the 20 reasons why. I know this, and I know 10 or 15 gifts and talents right now, Vernon, that I have. Absolutely, I don't doubt that. Brandon and I don't doubt that at all. Right? That's why we're so honored and so humbled to have you here with us in community on this podcast and on this live show. But really, my question is this: when is the last time that you, with your eyes, saw that list? When is the last time? Or has there ever been a time when you've seen what you're great at? Because think about this, folks, in this life, there's so many times that other people might want to show you what you're not great at, but I look at it from the other direction. When was the last time you looked at what you are great at? And it gives us the opportunity to put that before our eyes every single day. And that's one of the reasons why, for those that have been to my home, this is true. That I am a huge proponent of vision boards. And, I will say this, Brandon, when I kind of got into that whole vision board thing about 3 or 4 years ago, people laughed at me, right? Vision boards, that stuff doesn't work. That's this, that's that, that's whatever, Vernon. That's that hocus pocus, whatever magic stuff or whatever. And I just said, okay, that's fine. I said, but what you put in front of your eyes, that's what you're going to manifest. Right. But I really didn't have the evidence back then, but I had faith. Right. And I will tell you, one of the most powerful moments, Brandon, was when I went up to one of my vision boards in my home and I had to take something off of that vision board that I had posted on it. And the reason why I had to take it off of that vision board is because it had manifested in my life and had become a real thing. At that point, it wasn't any longer a theory. It was facts. I had evidence.
Absolutely. I know the feeling myself, my man. I do. I'm sitting 10 feet away from my vision board. And I completely agree with that statement. If you put it out there and you set your vision in that location, in that direction, it's funny. I actually have pictures that I printed off the internet to put on my vision board. And a couple of things that I wanted to achieve are they were images I found on Google. And I look at some of them now, and because I leave them up there, I actually don't take them off yet, because I just keep them up there and I look at it. And I actually looked one day and I was like, oh my God, That's like looks exactly like what it looked like when it happened. And it was so powerful. You know, one thing I talk about a lot in this book, and one thing I do talk about in Unlocking Unlimited Potential, is The Secret documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, you are what you think, you
It's
know,
that
and
law of attraction, man. It's
the
real.
law of attraction. It's so real. And I'm such a proponent and believer in that. Bob Proctor, you know, Les Brown, Jack Canfield. I'm such a believer in that kind of work within not only the work that I do professionally, but also the work I do with the students that I teach. And I feel like that's a valid part of the curriculum that is missing a lot. And so I work with schools and with districts to help bring that character education, to help bring that into schools so that you can align that. And there's no better time than now, because now we're all, for some reason, after 30 years, we had a pandemic, and now we're all given the grace to focus on mental health and social emotional learning. So there's no greater time now, because districts have finally bought into the fact that emotional intelligence really matters. Forget the scores, forget the homework, forget the books and the textbooks. If you don't have a relationship and you don't understand emotional intelligence with your student, then you're going to have difficulty reaching them and tapping into their limitless potential.
You know, if we got 100 CEOs together from international companies, right? True international businesses, we got 100 CEOs together, and we asked them, name the top 10 traits, characteristics, skill sets, things that leaders of today and tomorrow would need to have. I would say with great assurance that at least 60 to 70%, maybe even more, but we'll be conservative and say 60, 70%. Within their top 10 would be the two things, being a visionary and EQ, or emotional intelligence. And so I really reverse engineer, right? Kind of like in the sense of the late, great Dr. Stephen Covey, beginning with the end in mind. If that's what we want for students to be, which is to be visionary so they can be innovative and to have emotional intelligence so they can make authentic connections with people, and to lead, as Brene Brown would say, with courage, and to lead with vulnerability, but also being strong as well and true to the vision, then I ask myself this: how many chances and opportunities within what we would call formal instruction and learning experiences have we given students to experience that? Because the fact of the matter is this: we can only expect for a student to demonstrate proficiency or mastery on something they've been given multiple opportunities to engage with.
Absolutely. And if you can get to, and I'll add one more bit to that Brene Brown piece. And if you can get to that point where you can be vulnerable and your student can be vulnerable with you, then you've achieved the sweet spot, right?
Yeah, because here's what's happened there. Just a wonderful thing, Brent. Folks, we warned you. I sure hope you've been taking notes, folks, because what Brandon just dropped was hugely powerful. And here's the reason why. And if you're a leader out there, I know we're talking particularly right now in this context about teachers and students, but if you're a leader out there, you're a leader of others, this applies very much so as well. You know, I've coached a lot of leaders over the years, and I've had leaders say to me, you know, privately in one-on-one dialogues, you know, Vernon, I would like for the people that I lead to really buy into what I'm doing, to buy into my initiative, to buy into what I'm trying to get accomplished. I would like for them to buy into that. Vernon, why are they not doing that? And one of the things that I ask folks is this: do they perceive you as being real? Do they perceive you as being authentic? Because I will tell you this, folks, when you share your story in an authentic way and you invite someone to share their story in an authentic way with you, and that exchange happens, here's what really is one of the major outcomes, but it's so very implicit. When I see, recognize, and honor your being vulnerable, I've just given you ownership, my ownership, and whatever it is that you're working on. And that's why storytelling, a great place to take notes. That's why storytelling right now is so powerful, not only to connect people and to go across cultures and races and ethnicities and all these other differences, but here's why it also is so powerful, folks. Anything that we want done in life on a major level is going to be beyond the ordinary, and it's going to be beyond what we can do ourselves. It's going to require that we come into community with other human beings. But really, what has really convinced another person to say, you know what, Brandon, I want to be a part of what you're doing. And for those that are out there that might be saying, you know what, man, Brandon, Vernon, this is great. Man, I'm so pumped up. I'm ready to go right now. Even I know there are different parts of the country down here in Dallas it's snowing. You may say, man, I'm so ready to go. I'm ready to do what they do in Green Bay, which is just run out and run in the snow or whatever in shorts. But here's what I'm going to say, right? That's the will. Let's talk about the skill. If you've not read the book, 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, you need to get it. You need to get it. You need to read it. You need to listen to it. You need to really absorb it, because I'm going to say this, folks. If Brandon came to me and knowing the person that Brandon is, and he said, well, Vernon, I'm working on this, and this. Here's what I would say to Brandon. I don't want to be a spoiler alert about the book, so I really won't speak to it in terms of the book in that context. But I would say, you know what, Brandon? When you came to me and you started to ask me the question, my answer was already yes. Not because of whatever it is you're wanting to ask me about, but because of the person you are and how I see you. So the answer was already yes before really you even asked me.
I appreciate that, man. I'm feeling the love. Bro. Come with like a card and flowers, I feel like, right? That's incredible.
Right. Love is, folks, if you weren't with us at the beginning, love is success. Success is love. And we define love as this: to desire and to will the highest level of well-being for another human. And so when I love someone, and to love someone in whatever the different ways are, a significant other, a child, a sibling, a parent, a relative, and whatever those different ways are that we can express love, what we're really saying when we express love is to say, I want for that person the highest level of well-being for them to experience that in their lives. Or in other words, what are you saying? I will and desire success for that person in whatever terms success means for that person in every area of their life, professionally and personally. Love is success. Success is love.
I'm taking that one to the bank, man. That's a good one. I'm gonna be holding on to that one all day. Thank you for that. Well, listen, my man, I mean, we could talk for hours and hours and hours, but I am sure you have a busy couple hours ahead of you. You know, you guys are handling some weather down there in Texas, which, by the way, I didn't even know that it snows in Texas, which is pretty cool. So I'm glad that we were able to make this happen, but we have been talking about it this entire time. We've been talking about unlocking unlimited potential, because that's really what the ultimate goal is for all humans and for all educators, to be able to unlock the unlimited potential in all they serve. And so what does unlocking unlimited potential mean to you, Vernon?
Really, it means this. And if you're taking notes, folks, a great place to take notes. You would say, wow, I'm taking a lot of notes in this show. That's a good thing, right? Dropping lots of pro tips, dropping lots of free game. We said we would do that. We are obviously attending to our word and making good on that. You need to know who you are. And once you know who you are, then you can go ahead and be greatness for someone else. But first, I'm going to challenge you to be greatness for yourself and to live out the greatness that is already inside of you. You don't need to go find greatness in someone else. You don't need to go find greatness in some other place. The greatness is already in you, but do you know what that greatness is? So you would say, you know what, Vernon, in the realm of skill and will, I have a lot of will right now. What's a skill that I can acquire that would help me take the next step? Again, take that piece of paper, write down all of your talents and gifts. Take an hour, 2 hours, half a day, full day. And when you write that down, I want you to put at the very top your name. You can put you as well. And that is what you bring to the table. That's part of who you are. But then the other thing I want to say in addition to that is this: what is your vision for 2021? And those of you that are visual folks, I want to ask you this: what is the image in your mind's eye for what you want to be and for what you want to become, want to accomplish in 2021? The image you have in your mind will drive the results you live out. And whatever you say about your life is what you will have. And then the last thing is this: in terms of skill and will, believe, speak, and act in all that we do professionally and personally, because the greatest moments of our lives, professionally and personally, are when we are living out our lives in alignment with who we really are at our core.
Yes. That is the moment. You know, if I had a microphone, I'd have a lot of broken ones on the floor around me. My neck hurts from nodding so many times from hearing you speak. This has been, I agree 100%. Listen, so Vernon, how can people, if they haven't followed you, or if they, how can they stay up with all the awesome stuff you've got going on?
Well, thank you so much. What is the foundation of my brand and all of the different pursuits and things that I do is my website, zeroapologyzone.com, online clothing apparel website. And that's really the branding foundation, really an outward expression through apparel of all that the brand and my business really symbolizes. On Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Discord, if we have any gamers out there, and also to Xbox Live. And Clubhouse. Check me out on Clubhouse. Some people have already. @The Right Leader, as you see there on my screen. @The Right Leader if you follow me on Twitter. And would love to go ahead and connect with you and talk to you about what's going on in your world and affirm you and have you be part of my PLN. I just want to tell you I'm so humbled and I'm so honored as a kid that many moons ago really lived in an apartment complex that is such a really not good place for people, and to come from such humble beginnings, to be here on your show with you today, Brandon, it's I'm overwhelmed and I'm humbled beyond what words can convey. So zeroapologyzone.com, @The Right Leader, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Clubhouse, Discord, Xbox Live. You don't want me on that 2K or that Madden. But connect with me, folks. Look forward to seeing you.
That is awesome. And look, it's been a pleasure. The pleasure's been all mine. I'm so empowered and have so many ideas running through my head after all this. And I just love having these opportunities to do this. And one thing we also got to do today is we got to shout out a educator who is out there. We have to dedicate this episode because I do that with every episode. And there is one amazing person of many, obviously, but this guy right here, JT Taylor. This is the episode dedication to this. Follow JT Taylor. You need to get on it right now. He is the CEO of Purpose Pushers. He is doing some amazing stuff. I've loved connecting with him. I connected with him on a Teachers on Fire roundtable not too long ago, and we just connected ever since. And he is doing some incredible stuff for Black History Month, and he is doing every day. He is bringing a announcement. He's bringing out people from that goes back all the way to ancient times, and he just has some amazing stuff. I love his passion. I love the work he's doing. If you don't follow JT, make sure you follow him as well. We also have a bunch of other things going on. If you're interested, the Mentor Roundtable book study for Unlocking Unlimited Potential is coming up. If you want to sign up for that, you can contact me. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere else like that. We got about 30 people in it. It is done completely through Voxer. It is going to be a very inspirational experience because I'm so excited to do it. And I can't wait to be able to talk and be able to chat with all of you and get to know not only how it feels to read through the book, but also your thoughts to continue to push it for the next book. And then also, other than that, we always have Our apparel for unlocking unlimited potential can be found on my website, BrandonBeck.edu. And we have the Code Breaker Lounge on Friday. If you haven't had a chance to join that, check that out. There are some awesome individuals that do this, that show up on Friday at 10 a.m. If you don't know where that is, reach out to Matt Joseph, or you can find the information on the Code Breaker website as well. That's a lot. Vernon, thank you so much, my man, for being here. I appreciate your wisdom. I know there are some people who just had their worlds rocked, and I'm hoping that we had made your Valentine's Day feel a little bit more lovely. So, well, my man,
what an honor and what a privilege. And I want to say this: if you're loving others, love yourself, and pick up that dream and pick up those New Year's resolutions off the shelf. Let's make it happen. Let's make that move. 2021 is now.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Don't forget to share that love. Remember, the journey toward unlocking unlimited potential begins with us, and educate with passion.